In today's video, we'll explore the core by circumnavigating front, sides, and back, top and bottom, pelvic floor, thoracic diaphragm, as well as getting into the stabilizers around the hips, like glute med, and around the shoulders, like serratus anterior. This is a warm-up that I like to do before I take a yoga class. Or before my own home practices, to kind of rev the engine so that my core feels solid and supported and stable before I start to flow and stretch. Bring the soles of your feet to the ground. Grab a block and squeeze into it. Now, if you don't have a block, you could fold up a cushion, you could use your blanket or towel, or you could do this without. We're gonna come into bridge. You can draw your arms into a goalpost shape, squeeze into the block, and roll up through your spine. So we're gonna start our practice today by kind of organizing, awakening, activating all around the core. So we're starting this process with the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, which link into engaging through the pelvic floor, the ground floor of your core, the muscles between the pubic bone, the tailbone, and the two sitting bones. So squeeze that block, power up your legs, and slow down your breath. As you inhale, feel the rib cage lengthen away from your pelvis towards the wall behind you where your fingers are pointing. And as you exhale, scoop your tailbone towards your toes, lengthening the base of the spine, the low back. 5 more. Can you keep squeezing the block? Like if you have a foam block, it's almost like you want to leave a little dent in the sides of it. Take one more deep breath in, and then as you exhale, roll down through your spine, nice and slow. You can move your block or whatever you've got there out of the way, and bring your shins parallel to the ceiling and your arms down by your sides. And I invite you to draw your lower back, like release and widen your lower back down into the ground. Now you're gonna want a little space overhead to reach the arm. As you exhale, left heel taps, right arm reaches. And then as you inhale, come back where you started. Exhale, left arm and right heel, lower back releases down into the mat. Inhale, keep this going. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. As you exhale, you reach away and hold your center. As you inhale, you bring it back. So keep feeling almost like your lower back is suction sealed down to the mat. And if this goes well, maybe you straighten the leg and hover the leg like 2 feet up off the ground. Doesn't have to go all the way down. Keep the lower back wide and spreading down, down, down into the contact of the mat. Let's do 4 more. Right, left, right, left. When you finish, it'll be left arm, right leg to finish. Hug your knees into your chest and just roll onto your left side. And you're gonna lie on your side like Utkatasana that somebody tipped over. So draw your left arm under your head. Your knees are bent like Utkatasana. Your torso will actually be upright. Reach your arms overhead, find Kali Mudra, interlace all but the index fingers, and reach them back towards the wall behind you. Your knees and your hips stack. So notice if that top hip retreats, stack it up. Pelvis and shoulders and head in line, arms overhead like so. Good, and then lift your right knee up. Keep your ankles together. Inhale, lower it. Exhale, lift, reach through your index fingers, open your chest, inhale, lower it. And you do about 8 more. Lifting the knee without letting your right hip go back. So this is just getting right into that glute that stabilizes, glute med stabilizes the pelvis and the low back. So we're just kind of taking a little tour all around the core. Glutes are part of the core because they're connected to your pelvis. So they're part of that stability. And we'll do all this work before we stand and then feel how your practice feels different from kind of revving the engine and connecting before you flow. Next time your right knee goes up, keep it up, lower it down 3 inches and up. Keep that going for 10. So it's a little tiny pulse. 9. Don't let your right hip slide back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Reach through your index fingers. 2. Hold. Take 2 deep breaths. Hold your right knee up without letting your right hip retreat. Keep your right hip stacked. Good. And then lower and do that on the other side. So you can roll on your back. Go to your other side. I'm just going to face you all, but you can, roll on your back. And then reach your arms up overhead. Interlace all but the index fingers, Kali Mudra. And then stack your hips and bring them right under your shoulders and your head. And stack your ankles. Lift your left knee and lower it. And just keep that going. Lift and lower. You've got it. So you'll start to feel your glute med saying good morning. And these are exercises that I like to do if I am taking another person's yoga class, if I show up early, just to get all of this stability work solid before I start to flow and stretch. I find that it's very supportive for the health of my hips, my low back. It keeps everything nice and stable. We'll keep this going for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up. You're going to lower down and lift up like 3 inches for 10. Micro pulse. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hello, glute med. 4. Good morning. 3, 2, 1. Hold it up. Take 2 breaths. Notice if your left hip is retreating. Stack it right on top. Good. And then lower. Come on up, all 4s. All right. From all 4s, lower down onto your forearms. Interlace your fingers. So you're like this. Pause with your knees down, and I want to do 5 little kind of push-ups around the shoulder blades. So sink your chest down to the mat, and then push down into your forearms so you feel your shoulder blades widen. And then sink your chest, and then widen, protract your scapula. Good, keep that going, it looks good. Yeah, nice. And press. So you can think of 2 more. Think of your shoulder blades like an automatic door that slides wide. That's protraction. And when they squeeze in and your breastbone goes down, that's retraction. Yeah. Now keep the protraction, the wideness. Tuck your toes and lift your knees and your hips for dolphin pose. So I want you to keep feeling as you, especially as you root down into your wrists. Yeah, find the pinky finger, the wrist. Feel that you can protract, beautiful, your scapula. Yeah, and this will give you more clearance for your head, so that your head does not touch the ground in this pose, right? Push the floor away from you. Push down into your wrists, pinkies. 2 more. Finding that stability of your scapula on your back ribs. And then just keep the arms and walk your feet back, forearm plank. You can separate your hands, bring your forearms parallel to one another, and come onto the tops of your feet where a shoelace would go. Press down into your forearms, widen your shoulder blades, and find a little tuck of your tailbone. Go slow, lower your knees and your pelvis, and come into Sphinx, look forwards. Good, as you exhale, zip it back up, lift your knees, lift your pelvis. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale, exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. 2 more. Go slow. Keep your knees straight and feel muscle fiber by fiber, this activation to lower and lift. Good. And then once you're back up, take a breath in. Stay here as you exhale. 1 more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, lower back down into Sphinx pose. Inhale here. And as you exhale, slide your arms forward and lower all the way to your forehead. Good. Slide your arms down by your legs, palms face down. Widen your collarbones and push into your palms. From here, lift your legs, straight knees, and lower them. Ardha Shalabhasana, 4 more. Lift, pressing down into the pubic bone, and lower. You're slightly tucking the tailbone, scooping it, pressing down, knees straight and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Last time, lift, lower. Interlace your hands at the back of your head. Lift your head and your shoulder blades. You can look down to the ground, elbows wide. Keep your legs down, feet down. That's it. Good. And then lower. And then 4 more. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Last 2. Last 1. Good. And then lift everything up. So arms forward, arms, legs, like if you could levitate, you would. And lower, just 4 more. Lift and lower so you feel your back body engaging. So we think of the core like an apple core, front, sides, back, top and bottom, not just the frontal part of the core. So here we're saying good morning to the back. One more time, lift up and lower down, and then press back, all 4s. Good. Good, and then find downward facing dog when you're ready. And take a couple breaths. So this month, we'll be working with this theme of the core, and we'll start the Sunday class where we have a little more time with this kind of rev for the core. I'll share it on my website, so if you want to do it on your own outside of this class, you can. But there's just one last piece. You're going to walk your feet to the top of your mat, find a fold, find your block, and then as you inhale, half lift, Ardha, and as you exhale, fold forward over your legs, and then inhale and circle your arms down, around, and up. And as you exhale, gather your hands to your heart, hug your navel to your spine. You'll feel this power, good, in your hips and belly. Grab your block. So block can go middle or narrow. It just depends on your structure. We're all built differently. So I'd like you to stand with your feet outer hips width apart, all 10 toes pointing forward, and whatever width you need the block is perfect. Okay, if you don't have a block, you can roll up your towel or blanket or squeeze into a kid's bouncy ball or something. Find something. Stand tall, squeeze in, lift up through your hip flexors. As you inhale, Utkatasana, sit your hips back, weight in your heels, arms overhead. As you exhale, squeeze in and stand tall. 10. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block, tone the pelvic floor, and hug the low belly in. 9. Inhale. So as you hug in, feel the coordination of the pelvic floor and the deep core. 8. Exhale, 7. Inhale. Exhale, 6. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Good. Exhale, 2. Inhale. And last 1. Good. Okay, move your block out of the way. I don't need this anymore after all that. Okay, so if you're interested in following along with these exercises, I'll post a little video on my website. I have a blog. It's just called Practice Notes. You can find that and, have a little 10-minute core module to do on your own.